Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're going to be taking another look at my monthly update for investing and for earning crypto. So we'll be going through all of my investments for amateur investing. We'll be looking at my stocks, my crypto, my dividends that I'm earning, the crypto that I'm earning passively from staking, as well as all the buys and different things that I'm doing in that side of things in my investing. And then we'll also look at all the platforms that I use on the social side to actually earn cryptocurrency, how much I'm earning from each of those platforms, as well as some insights, recommendations, and thoughts on those platforms. Previously, I used to do these reports separately, and now for sake of convenience and trying to get out more videos, I'm doing these in the same video so you can kind of watch whatever is more important to you. But I'll start with my earnings and then we'll take a look at my investments and we'll go through all of that after a word from my sponsor today.
A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android.
All right, thanks again to my sponsor. So we're going to go through this a little bit more quickly, given that we're going to be going through my earnings and my investments all in one episode. So I'm going to be trying to be as succinct and brief as possible and straight to the point. So we're just going to jump right to my earnings for September, which was $100.13 Canadian or $73.10 US. Now, there is a growing gap between the Canadian and the US dollar, so that has to somewhat be considered. But with that aside, I did earn more than the last month, which is really good to see that it's starting to go up a little bit. But in October, like this month, I did less, so I expect my earnings to be going back down. I keep saying I want to post more. I do want to post more. But it really seems like that's not dramatically going to be changing. And I'm taking on more work as it is now. So it's not likely that I'm going to be doing more and more, though I'm trying to. The reason that it takes so long to do videos a lot of times is I'll be doing a lot of research and stuff on the back end before I can actually post the video. And then, I only end up getting like 4 videos in a month. And that's kind of my cadence right now. So at the very minimum, I'm trying to get 4 videos out a month, but I do want to do more than that. Ideally, I would be doing twice a week, 8 videos a month, but we'll see. I have a lot of big things in the works. I have a lot of backdrafted interviews that I have to get out. So I'm going to be working on all that in the next little while. Lots and lots has been going on. Again, I'm always trying to post more. I'm always catching up with my stuff, but thank you for bearing with me. In terms of my actual earnings, PublishOX is starting to go back up a little bit. Brave browser is starting to pay out more rewards, I've noticed, so that's really good to see. LBRY is still pretty dismal, but I'm not going to cut it if it's earning me at least a few dollars. Once it's consistently giving me less than like $1, I'll probably cut it, but if it's able to keep that up for now, I will keep reporting on LBRY. Sadly, Hive is pretty dismal in the last month. But again, I haven't really been posting that much. One thing that will be different in October is I've been doing a lot more ActiveFit, which probably won't continue very far into the colder months. But I was doing that quite a bit in October. So hopefully that sort of makes up for the lack of content in October, but we'll see on the next report. But yeah, Hive is down. Again, it's more likely due to me not posting than it is something inherent to the platform. Read.Cash is back up, so that's really good to see. Again, it's hard to rationalize exactly why some platforms are going up and some are going down. It's mainly just because I'm not posting very much, so it really just depends if I hit the right timing and the right type of post on each platform, and it ends up being very nuanced. So none of this is really prescriptive, and none of the recommendations or advice I would give based on my earnings is really prescriptive. It's really just kind of following up as usual. And at the end of the day, if you're going to use crypto platforms, I would stick to mainly Hive and Hive-based clones if you want to keep it simple. The only one that I really veer out to, go out of my way to use is Read.Cash, even though it's not really decentralized. Same with Noise.Cash. But clearly I'm earning the most there, at least last month. So, it's definitely worth your time to put in that effort to earn on those platforms. But again, it's really going to come down to how much time and effort you're putting into it. I know people who post every day and they earn less than me posting 4 times a month. But then there's people who post every day and they earn tons. Or, you post once a month and it could be very, very popular and you could earn more. The big thing that people run into with Hive and Hive clones is they do sort of low quality posts, or they're really just posting to get rewards. They're not actually really trying to provide any value. And then they struggle to actually get any rewards or value because they thought that they could just kind of, post whatever and people would just upvote. It's like, well, you still have to write about something that you're interested in and make it interesting. And you still have to do all the, things to get people to actually view your content. And then if they find it valuable, they will upvote it. And I mean, it's like that for anything. And there's always kind of that hurdle to get started. But if you're just talking about stuff that you like or interested in, you won't be too worried about how much you earn. And really, to get any earnings will be enough motivation to keep you pushing forward. Because you might be wondering, why would I put in all this effort and, struggling to get my 4 posts out if I'm only getting $100 a month? Well, I want to make content and I enjoy doing this. And I also feel a responsibility to my followers to keep up with, things like these reports. Even if I'm not reporting on very much, I still feel like it's very important to, hold myself accountable. And I'm trying to do that as best as I possibly can and continuing to earn and share the best insights that I can. But, that's pretty much everything. This gives you a little bit of a look at how things have trended over the past several months. Obviously, I've been going down, but, I'm up from August, where I only earned $85 Canadian, and now in September I earned $100 Canadian. So I mean, it is an uptick, but I don't expect things to really get to these crazy high levels that I used to have until we get back into a bull market. Until then, it's going to be very, very small, dismal earnings, but at the end of the day, I am more than happy to just be putting out content and help people in the crypto space as best as I can. So with that being said, let's jump into the investment side of things. Now, last month I earned $29.43, putting my total dividend earnings to $2,138. You can see the graph here. Again, for anyone who hasn't been following along, I sold the majority of my portfolio in the end of January, beginning of February, at the top of the market pretty much, luckily for me. And since then, I've been slowly kind of going back in, but for the most part, I very much pulled back. Like, I'm only like 7% stocks now, whereas before I was like 15 to 20%. But either way, crypto income is I've now totaled $1,395, and last month I earned $75.84. It has sort of dipped, but again, I used to have a ridiculous amount of HBD earning me quite a bit, and then I invested all that, and I've slowly been getting a little back into Hive, HBD, and then I've also been looking more into blurt, DTube, and Steam. I'm not a huge fan of Steam, but I'm trying to just stay within the Hive ecosystem of clones or hard forks or whatever it happens to be, and that's kind of my main focus for staking crypto lately. In terms of crypto appreciation, beginning of October, I was $118,040, which is just a slightly below a 1% loss from the previous month. So not a big deal. I'm not too worried about that. We'll just move on to the next one, which is my stock investments, which have notably grown, but I've been investing in stocks. So, I mean, it's also partially that they've grown and also partially that I've actually just been putting money in. So that's slowly building my accounts back up. I invested another 1,000 just before this 2 days ago. We'll touch on that in a moment when we get into my overall stock portfolio and all the individual changes. My total portfolio at the beginning of October was 172,000, which is great, but I've actually gone up quite a bit since then. So now we'll look at the individual changes in my stock portfolio and pretty much everything. You can see my total portfolio is now up to 187,000. So that's up about 16,000 or so, which is a good increase. And I'm glad to see that I'm going back up now. Oh, and this just updated because I have automatic crypto updates. So clearly crypto is going back up a little bit. So it's at 188 now. And my stocks, I've done a few changes here. I invested some money into XEI, just topping this up so it was about the same percentage as FCCD, with my majority ETFs invested into VDY at 43.5%. The big new thing that I was doing was I put a chunk of money, a very, very small chunk, like $250 into BTCC and ETH, which are both of Purpose's ETFs, and they're the largest crypto ETFs for Ethereum and Bitcoin. I figured I would just stick with the top dogs and not really worry too much about that. The main reason why I am investing at all in crypto stocks is because it's in my TFSA, which means that I'm able to do so completely tax-free. In Canada, you have a certain amount that you can do this with. I highly recommend, but not financial advice, that anyone in Canada take advantage of their TFSA. And if you want to not have to deal with any tax related concerns, or just skip that whole process, just do everything within your TFSA within your limits, and then invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. And those are pretty much the best cryptos to be investing in anyways. So you're not really getting too much of a restriction in doing it that way. But if you were to invest in crypto directly, you would get the benefits of decentralization, etc. And you can actually withdraw and hold it on a wallet that you control. So you get the full benefit of ownership as well. Nothing has really changed for me for Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're just, doing their thing, pumping along. Some major changes in terms of my staking that I was mentioning. I went back into Tron, and then Tron started dropping its APY, and I was like, if I'm in Tron, I don't like Justin Sun. I don't really like the Tron ecosystem. It's fairly stable in terms of the price. I'll give it that. But if the APY is continually going down, because presumably they're just focusing all of their assets and all of their their funds and all of their attention to USDD, their decentralized algorithmic stablecoin, which is not really decentralized, and we know most algorithmic stablecoins fail, which we also just saw. Near's USN, I believe it's called, it just went bunk as well. So now they're going to have to pay people out in USDT, ironically. And the only way that they're going to pay you out is if you KYC. So if you tried to buy their decentralized crypto stablecoin from their DAO, now, ironically, all this decentralized stuff, now you're being KYC'd if you want to be able to cash out. So that's a conundrum right there. Pretty much just avoid all algorithmic stablecoins, 99% of them. HBD is one exception for me. But yeah, so I took all that money, I put it into Blurt, I put it into Steam, I put it into DTube, I put a little bit more into HBD and Hive. I'm still pretty reluctant to like Steam because, it's the same issue with Tron. It's Justin Sun who caused all these problems, but I will still be posting on Steam. I still have been posting on Steam. So I figured, you know what? I might as well put a little bit more skin in the game to also show people on Steam and DTube and Blurt that I am serious about the platform, and I will put some more skin in the game when I'm actually investing and using the platform. Plus, it'll all come back to me in the form of upvotes and earning more on the social side. So maybe that will kind of offset a lot of my lack of earnings, because if I put more behind my actual Steam power, my Blurt power, my DTube power, my Hive power, then I have more influence to be able to curate and earn more, as well as I can delegate and get upvotes and all these different things, right? So I'm earning a little bit passively on these platforms when doing this, and I'm also earning through upvotes and things that I will receive from these accounts. So it's kind of like a double whammy here. And so you will see a lot of that in the next report, or maybe only really in November, because it'll be a tiny amount in October. You'll really see it play out in November and just initially starting in October. But regardless, this was my original payout value when I had calculated this at the beginning of the month, and it's gone up a little bit. So, that's nice to see. But yeah, in terms of what I'm doing here, I'm staking, and then I'm delegating with that stake to earn more than just the basic stake. And then with that delegation, I will earn upvotes and I will earn crypto sent to me for delegating. So it's kind of like a way for me to earn passively and for me to kind of boost my content. And it works twofold, because you'll get a little bit more for your content, and it'll get a little bit more visibility, because then that could lead to more engagement, earnings, etc. And it kind of snowballs. So you always got to keep that in mind. For most of my other things, privacy crypto, speculative crypto, crypto cash, nothing has really changed. The main changes were really just with my stocks and my stakeable cryptos. So that's pretty much it for today. Let me know what you guys are investing in and what you're doing. I tried to jump through this really quickly, so this is actually one of my shortest updates yet, and it's combining both of them together. So I'm pretty surprised I was able to do this so quickly, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think we're finally starting to slowly inch our way back into the bull market, and as we get closer and closer to the ETH surge update, that's when we're really going to see things start to blow up. And, I'm highly anticipating that. So I'm very excited to see how things play out. Let me know, though, are you guys anticipating to see a lot more bullish activity as we get closer to the surge? Where do you expect things to start to pick up? Do you think we're going to be bearish for a longer time than expected? Where do you think the market is going in the next 6 months, in the next year? What are you investing in? How are you preparing for all of this? And do you think things could get worse in the markets? Do you think, something could happen with everything that's going on in the world now that would cause the markets to go even lower? Let me know all your thoughts. And thank you so much for watching to the very end. You can let me know that you watched to the very end by commenting hashtag #1ham in the comments below. And then that way I know you watched the whole thing. And I will be much more likely to respond to any comments that you make, having let me know that. Anyways, again, thank you. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.